Welcome back, Shalligators. Sad news out of Buckingham Palace. Yes, Queen Elizabeth has died at the senseless age of 96. I'm sorry, I shouldn't make jokes. It is so sad. Like, I was getting teary-eyed about it. You know, it's sad when anyone dies. It's sad when anyone dies. And I lost my grandmother a few years ago, and it's a tough thing for sure. And I think one thing we should remember is that something doesn't have to be tragic in order to be sad. But I was thinking about what topics we could do here, because, normally I wouldn't do a topic on death. It's such a downer. But I wanted to instead not talk about death, and I will talk a little bit about grief and grieving, but I wanted to talk about Queen Elizabeth's life, and not like a recap of all the history. We've all watched The Crown. Every news outlet in the world is recapping her monarchy. I want to talk about elegance, grace, and poise. How to keep calm and carry on. How to be seen as an elegant woman during inelegant situations, trying times, breakups, fights, attacks. How did Queen Elizabeth manage this? Well, I have some concrete things you can do, how you can look even. We're going to break it all down. I'm going to give you some lessons from Queen E's life. And of course, what am I going to do? Am I going to shred Meghan Markle? Yes. Yes, I am. But before we get started, I would really appreciate it if you guys, speaking of elegance, part of elegance is giving back. And I think there's nothing more beautiful than helping somebody else out, namely one of our own, a Shalligator named Jerry Beth. She is going into her own pocket to rescue dogs and cats in Venezuela, and she has a GoFundMe. She could really use your help. Even $10 goes such a long way down there. Typically, she'll post on her Instagram how much it costs to save an animal. It's usually about $130. So if you can dig deep, not so deep, even just skip today's latte and pay that forward, it would really mean the world to me. Also, speaking of royalty and history, guys, we're going to Italy. We have some Shalligator getaways open for you. We have 2 Italy trips that are available. One this November. It starts November, I want to say 2nd. I'm sorry, I've got so many on the books. We've got 3 spots left for that, but there's only a week left to book, and then they close the trip, and when we're done, we're done. We're going to be going to Rome, Tuscany, Florence. I know a ton about the history there. Too much, an unsexy amount. And I would love to have you guys come with. It's such a fun, wonderful girls trip. We bring our own dedicated photographer to get you some amazing content. We're also going to Italy next spring. We are going to, Milan, Lake Como, and the Amalfi Coast. So it's going to be a different kind of itinerary, still so beautiful, so much history, so much content. It's going to be very flashy, it's going to be so fun. So go ahead and click the links down below for that. Also, if you want to watch the Alpha Academy Sexy Sessions, my hookup tutorials that you might have missed broadcast a few weeks ago, you can access them on the Shallontourage. It's sort of our cozy little internet clubhouse where you get exclusive videos from me. I'm filling you in on my dating sagas. Holy fucking shit. And ask you guys for advice. Plus, you are on Telegram chats with me. I chime in all day. And like I said, you can access all of the Alpha Academy sexy session tutorials forever. There's kissing, handjobs, blowjobs, sex, kinks, how to be sexy, Q&As, all of this stuff. It's I don't even know, 12 videos. It's a lot. So you get access to all those. Link down below with a savings code. So let's talk royals. First of all, should we start with shredding Meghan? Perfect. My best friend texted me and she's like, oh, the queen. She's like, and this was a few hours ago. She's like, not like I want her to die or anything, but this would at least be probably the end of the line for Meghan Markle, because her entire brand is shitting on her in-laws. Just, that's all she has to say. Is they treated me so bad. They treated me so bad. First of all, you're a liar. Don't act like you didn't understand what you were getting into marrying into this family. We've done a lot of videos on Meghan, and I love how the only comeback people have is you just don't like her because she's black. Who's black? Meghan? I've seen her driver's license. She was a source for us when I was the editor at Star Magazine. I saw her driver's license. It says Caucasian. It says white. She's not black. She's black when it's convenient. She trots that poor mother, who seems honestly so adorable. I love her mother, just seems so cool and so wise. Trots that poor mother out when she needs her, and then never to be seen again. So please don't play the race card with me. But you know what? Let's say she is black. What is equality? Oh, is it judging people not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character? Who said that? I can't remember. Was it in a speech or something? I don't know. This is equality, babe. We're judging people by their character, and you don't get a pass because you happen to be a certain color or a certain nationality or in a wheelchair or not in a wheelchair or in a corner office or in a Congress seat. That's not what equality is. Welcome to hell. It sucks. So if that's the card you're going to play, go someplace else. It really means nothing to me. Meghan, like I said, her entire brand is complaining. It's complaining. All the suffering she's done. Meghan, let's talk about how royals have suffered in the past. Have some of them, I don't know, gotten their heads chopped off? They have. Have they been locked in towers when they were 9 years old and left to die? Oh, that's right, they have. I mean, a recent monarch, Queen Elizabeth's grandfather, was euthanized. He was basically murdered by his own doctors. He was on his deathbed. They gave him a mix of morphine and cocaine. This is a good note. Don't do heroin. Don't do like weird speedballs. Is that what a speedball is? I don't know. Don't do those two things in concert. To hasten his death, to make him die quicker so he would make the morning papers and instead of the less prestigious evening papers. This was not that long ago. So how has Meghan suffered? I don't believe for a second all of her claims that the royals were so racist to her. What particularly pissed me off is when she said, who was it? Camilla was like, oh, I wonder what color hair her baby will have. This is the most normal thing to say about babies that aren't born yet. I wonder what color eye color. Are they going to be like darker tone, light? I mean, you have someone who's mixed race with a ginger. Is it really weird to say like, I wonder what they're going to look like? Racism is ascribing a value judgment to a certain group or to a person because of their race. It is not talking about race at all. And the woke mob has convinced the rest of us that it is. That like you're racist if you even talk about race. And yet we're all supposed to be thinking about race all the time, but we can't talk about it. But we need to think about it and be aware of it. But don't you ever say anything about it. Huh? You know I have a real issue with logic that doesn't connect. And that doesn't. If people don't like Meghan, it has nothing to do with her race. It is literally her personality. Oldest story in the book. Oldest story in the book. So, I mean, it's her personality, and she keeps digging herself deeper with this victim tour and this endless victim narrative. And even how she said the media in England called her kids the N-word. No, they didn't. That's not even legal. If that was true, you could sue. And she hasn't for that. I mean, she's sued for other things. No. And what it turns out, it was commenters on articles. Commenters aren't media. Like if you can comment on this video, that doesn't make you a YouTuber. I can fly in a plane. I'm not a pilot. I'm also not a plane. Squares and rectangles, Meghan. So again, like the only card she ever has to play is everyone is racist and hates me. And it's not even like based on fact. And how she compared herself to Nelson Mandela. Here's a pro tip for life. If ever you have the opportunity to compare yourself to Nelson Mandela, the South African leader who spent, 27 years imprisoned? If you have a choice, should I compare myself to Nelson Mandela or should I not? I want you to take this. Don't do it. Just, if there's a flow chart, there is no flow that leads to, I'm going to compare myself to Nelson Mandela. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to compare myself. I'm like Nelson. I want you to take the other direction. Okay? That's just a pretty safe way to live. If you live by no other rule, try that one. But I digress. I want to play for you a reel by Heather McDonald. And she follows me. I didn't know this. She's super funny. Was Heather McDonald on Real Housewives at any one time? Of New York? I don't know. I know she's a comedian. She's really funny. And she posted this reel. I don't even want to try and encapsulate it and do it justice. Please just listen to this.
Like, I was wrong about Meghan Markle. Like, she is so profound. I'm like shaking. I just read this article on Newsweek that said that she went to the Young World Summit, and Newsweek quoted her as saying some of the most profound stuff. She said that the young leaders that were there are the future. I'm just like chills. Then she said that since she became a mother, that now she sees the world through the eyes of her child. Like, I see the world through my child's eyes. And I'm just like, wow, I've been a mother my whole life. I've never thought of that. Chills. Thank God she's joined the podcast game. I don't even know. Like, I can't compete. Like, I mean, we're just going to learn so much. Chills.
Can't even breathe. Chills. This just says it all. This woman has nothing to say. She has nothing to say except for to complain. So I think that this could be like the end of our international Meghan Markle nightmare, because since her brand is just shitting on this family who is incredibly well publicized. Like, if you don't want to marry into a royal family, I get it. I wouldn't. I've said from the beginning, being royal seems awful. Like, you know, you can't accept free things. Yeah, like you can't have like Balenciaga send you the new collection like a celebrity could. You can't like get free comped dinners. Like, that's the whole reason to be famous, dude. Like, 100%. So you can't accept that. And you know what you have to do all the time is small talk. Oh, yes, your daycare center's open. Is that a macaroni portrait of me? Oh my goodness, it's so lovely. Thank you. Oh, is this your prize cabbage? It's quite large. I love it. I would put a bullet in my head. I couldn't do it. Like the smiling, the listening to inane, stupid stories. I named my rabbit after you, Kate. Great. I would not have the fortitude to do it in like, don't they have to wear pantyhose? I mean, there's a lot there. But listen, this isn't a new thing. Like, if you've been alive at all, you know what being a royal entails if you take 5 minutes and think about it. Apparently, Meghan didn't, because she seems shocked that that's what life was like. Is, yeah, you have to conform to a set of rules that are not made up yesterday. They're made up about 1,000 years ago. And of course, Meghan acting like she didn't understand what was required of a royal is part of her victimhood. Is it victimhood? Or let's say that that's actually true. It's not, it's a lie. But let's say that that's true. You're not a victim of the royal family. You're a victim of your own failure to research a situation. You're a failure of your own ignorance and stupidity. If I show up at a formal event in jeans because I didn't read the invitation, is it the event's fault or is it mine? Because I didn't take 5 minutes to be like, what's required of me? What am I getting myself into? Like, if I go to a sushi restaurant and ask for a burger and they don't have it, is the sushi restaurant at fault or am I at fault because I am not properly reading a situation? And would I reorient my entire life's brand as the girl who tried to get a burger at a sushi restaurant and somehow that's the sushi chef's fault? I just want to make sure that I've got the logic right. Because sometimes, you know, we say on here, when we don't really understand a situation, well, maybe they've got a point. It helps for me to copy and paste the dynamic into another set of circumstances, like sushi and burgers, and you're like, oh, what? Okay, I don't think so. So, since her whole brand is I have suffered at the hands of this wretched family, I can't imagine Netflix and her podcast broadcasting system, whoever the fuck they are, whatever idiots, is it Spotify? I mean, they're not idiots because my podcast is on Spotify. Love you, Spots. I cannot imagine that the producers would be like, oh yeah, no, this is still a great look. You're bashing a monarch who just died. A whole country is in mourning. Like, this is not okay. This is tacky. There was really nothing wrong with that woman. The monarchy does what it says on the tin. We are rigid, old-fashioned, boring. That's who we are. That's what monarchy is these days. Since when has monarchy been like super cool and flexible? Just like, yeah, like they're just rocking and rolling and trendy. That is not that's not what the sign says. So to trash people, you know, in this time of grief is going to be so incredibly tacky. And I really think, like, pardon the pun, the nail in the coffin for Meghan's brand as a whole. No one wants to fucking hear this anymore. No one wants to hear this. I never wanted to hear it to start with. Tell me your level of interest in the royals. I have a huge level in like past nobility, and I listen to this podcast. You guys know Noble Blood. It's fantastic. I just love it. And it really goes into like all these tales of like nobility and how fucked up things were, and not even as fucked up as ancient Rome. If you're coming on the trip with me, whoa, buckle up. I mean, people were murdering their mothers for power. They were like slicing open wombs. It was bananas. Caracalla, a Roman emperor who not only slaughtered 20,000 people in the city of Rome, anyone who he even vaguely thought might be plotting against him, which like they weren't. Also, he became impotent after a fever. And if you were like caught having sex, like with your wife or visiting a brothel, you were put to death. He murdered all the Vestal virgins who were like sacred. Like it's like murdering a nun. He murdered the Vestal virgins, buried them alive because he thought that they cursed him with not being able to have sex. So I'm sorry, Meghan, what was that? Someone asked about your kid's hair color? Okay, no, I'm just making sure we're on the same page. Let's switch gears and talk about elegance, poise, and grace. 3 traits I can be a little short on. I know my shortcomings. I'm a very woke narcissist. Listen, elegance is such a forgotten trait. And I feel like elegance has ebbed away from society in the very recent past. Like we look back at our grandmothers, my grandmothers, because I'm 1,000 years old. Like my grandmother was, a depression baby. Like she produced boomers, my mom. So like they wore seamed stockings and garters and they had their hair done and like tiny little waists and suits and they dressed up to go to the movies and fly on planes. Where did all that go? Like I'm really trying to pinpoint when that fell away. And the only thing I can think is maybe the hippie revolution, right? They're like, I have armpit hair. Ah. And listen, a million great things came out of the hippie revolution. Like women have birth control. We can like vote. Are we allowed to vote before then? Who even knows? Like probably not really. Like they're like, put those aside. Like a million great things. It was really like the unstuffinessing of America and therefore like the world, which I think is great. But I feel like we've gone too far. Like elegance is gone. Like girls are sending Snapchats on the toilet. We're talking about in front of people. We're doing those things in front of boys, in front of anyone. I have never even let a guy see me brush my teeth. It's inelegant. I was raised by very elegant women, like genteel Southern women. Like, no, we didn't always have our makeup done. We weren't these women who wake up at 4 a.m. to do our makeup and wake up next guy like, am I in diamonds? I don't know, Philip. Like, no, we're not like that. But there was poise, elegance, and mostly the understanding that there is a huge difference between intimacy and rudeness. Intimacy and rudeness. Intimacy in my household was emotional intimacy. It was communicating about feelings. It wasn't like, I can't even make the farty sound. I can't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. It wasn't swearing. It wasn't like belching. That is rudeness. It's not like, well, I just feel so close to someone. Please feel less close. I don't need that. That bridges no tightness with me. Like that doesn't make me feel like, I know someone better because now I've witnessed and heard and smelled things. I value openness in terms of emotion and speaking and time, acts of service, compliments, gifts, the love languages. No love language is like the farty sound. That's not a love language, okay? It doesn't need to be. What if we return to those states of elegance? What if we hold ourselves to a higher standard and stop trying to dress up rudeness as intimacy when actually it's just laziness and grossness? What if? What if? Now you might be saying, Shallon, like that's, you don't have a boyfriend. I do. And we like fart around each other and like pee with the door open. I don't want your boyfriend then. I don't want your boyfriend. I don't want a man like that. I don't want a relationship like that. I don't want a home environment like that. There is plenty of ugliness in the world. Why can't some things just be a little bit pretty? Why can't we have a little bit more poise and dignity? Like in my own home? Yes. My home is the most beautiful thing I see all day long. It is. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's fluffy, it's gilded, it's exactly how I want it. It is the beauty in the world I want to see. What did Gandhi say? He was a psychopath. That's a whole other video. But it was be the change you wish to see in the world. I am. Everything in my life is pretty because that makes me happy. So I take more care with my home environment, not less because, I'm relaxed. I can't relax in an environment that to me feels inelegant and gross. No, I know. I just said, Shallon, I said, I am not always that elegant. I'm not. I have a potty mouth, and truly it's one of my New Year's resolutions to swear less. It's so unappealing. It is so unappealing. And okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Inelegantly. Let's talk about what elegance and poise is. Because when I think about Queen Elizabeth, I honestly don't think very much. Partly because I'm an American and the royals are the who's who of I don't care. But also because Queen Elizabeth was very controlled about her image. She is the classic monarch, perhaps the last of them. Isn't that sad to think that her poise and control could be extinct? I mean, if Meghan Markle had it her way, it would be, And so I'm thankful that there's other members of the family that are carrying on that tradition, because if for no other reason, it is rare. And I don't think it's a bad thing to have an exemplar of poise and dignity to look up to in these times. The whole ethos of keep calm and carry on, I think, again, is so incredibly underrated. It's so much of an afterthought in life that I really think it will do us good to have elegance icons. Dita Von Teese, to me, is an elegance icon. She doesn't say too much. She doesn't show too much. And she's literally a stripper. She does a striptease. But still, she's an elegant woman. Let's break this down. Let's break down what elegance is. Because it's a few different actual concrete things. First and foremost, it's your appearance. Let's think of someone who is inelegant. Snooki. I'm sorry, I feel like I bash Snooki a lot on this channel. I've interviewed her and she is incredibly trashy. I mean, incredibly. She was losing all this weight and I interviewed her and I was like, so what foods do you like to eat? You know what she answered? Foods that make me shit. So there you go. When I think of Snooki, I think of someone who is abrasive, unrestrained, tacky, garish, all the colors are really loud and there's too much makeup and I'm thinking of Jersey Shore Snooki. I don't know what she's like now. I literally don't care. But the Snooki we all remember. Very trendy, chasing things, couldn't keep any feeling inside and process it. It all had to come screaming out. And in fact, Snooki is the touch point I give to our fear brain. When we have a fear-based thought, I want you to envision Snooki. How much would you listen to her in real life? If she's like, you should keep calling him, call him Angelo. Would you be listening to this woman? Would you be taking her advice as law? No. So why are we doing it in our own minds? But that's a whole other video. She is an inelegant woman. When I think of somebody who is elegant, let's think about Cate Blanchett, beautiful, or Helen Mirren. What makes these women so elegant? I even think of Kate Beckinsale as elegant. She's a little bit trendier, a little bit spicier, but I think of her as elegant. First and foremost, they're well-groomed. And they are well-groomed in a way that is very classic fashion. It's the opposite of trendy. It's very hard to be considered elegant when you're chasing every trend. Trendy is its own thing. Hailey Bieber is trendy, right? Kendall Jenner is trendy. Would I categorize them as elegant? Kind of, based on their poise. And we'll talk about their traits in a minute. But in terms of just their physical, yes, because they're well-groomed and they have good posture, they're beautiful. But just the fashion, no, I wouldn't say that that's elegant fashion necessarily. I think as they get older, they will have a much more classic sense of style. But for now, they're doing what young women do and they're chasing trends and they're setting trends. So, okay. But as we get older, I think it's very important to cultivate a classic sense of style and have a few stable classic pieces in a wardrobe, like a chambray shirt, nice gold earrings, some diamonds, things like that. If that's not your vibe, that's fine, but pick certain things to have quality pieces. And if you don't know where to begin, start with the basics. Literally go to Banana Republic, get a nice white shirt, some tailored pants, a camel colored trench coat, some simple statement jewelry, and you're already halfway there. Don't have your hair be a million different colors. Have 2 discernible eyebrows and white teeth. You can get Crest white strips. Your teeth don't have to be straight. I know that's expensive, but they have to be white. It's very easy to execute. It is very hard, conversely, to say that an elegant woman is a grubby woman or a grubby woman is elegant. And listen, you're probably saying, okay, no, like that shouldn't matter. Well, it fucking does, dude. You're honestly trying to make the argument that physical appearance does not matter in terms of how people assess you. We just motherfucking talked about this in that pronoun video with was it about Demi? Yeah. The pronoun mob is not good at playing the game, so they're going to try to reinvent the game or start a completely new one and tell everyone else who is good at playing it that they're wrong and stupid for knowing how to play, when actually they're the one who is wrong and confused and not very good at it. So yeah, I mean, you can tell yourself, it doesn't matter, it shouldn't matter what I look like. Good luck out there. Good luck out there. I had a friend one time who absolutely shredded me. We were in a fight. And basically we were in a fight because we had gone to a bar and I had gotten more attention. She showed up with dirty hair, in literally sweatpants. And I was looking good and she was really pissed. The guys were reacting to me a certain way. And I'm like, but I put more time into my appearance and men are visual creatures. It's like if you put more things into an engine in a car, it's probably going to go faster. Why did I use cars as an example? I have absolutely no idea. If you add more spices into a dish, it's going to taste more complex and diverse. Why are you mad about this? This is the way of the world. You can get mad at it, but you're going to lose. Getting mad doesn't mean you win the game. It means the game crushes you. And everyone else playing it kind of knows that. So get on board. Posture is huge. It is very hard to describe a hunched shoulder fidgety person as elegant and poised. You roll these shoulders back. Here's a posture trick Oprah taught me. When you're walking, your arms down at your side, right? If your thumbs are brushing your thighs, you're hunched over. Your thumbs should be pointing forward when you walk. That's when you know your posture is aligned. So look down. If your thumbs are pointing in, you roll your shoulders back and your thumbs automatically go up. Very simple posture trick. Truly, the easiest way to get guys' attention, walk into a bar with your shoulders back, your chin down just a little, and your eyes up just a little coquettishly. Not a lot. You're not like this. You're also not like this. It's just a half an inch drop, and your eyes are up. You guys can learn more about this in the How to Be Sexy video that I did. It's in the Shallon Entourage. It's really good. But this isn't all. Looks, as they say, are not everything. I mean, you might be standing up straight and well-groomed and you still don't feel elegant. In times of strife, that's really not your default setting. Girl, believe me, I know this. This is why I said I feel rather unpoised much of the time. I'm a fighter. It's hard to be a poised warlord. You know what I mean? I'm an elegant warlord. I guess that's really the dream. That's really the ultimate brand, the elegant warlord. But it is possible. And in fact, when we think back throughout history, throughout Disney movies, at the most commanding, magnetic, and menacing villains, they all have something in common. Silence. Silence. They're not shrieking and screeching. They're not snooking. Oh, Iago, go deliver a message. They're speaking slowly, deliberately. No one's rushing them. Everyone is listening to them. They're choosing their words carefully, and they're not repeating themselves. Truly the hallmark of poise, and the hallmark of the royal family and Queen Elizabeth, is zipping the lip. I didn't watch all of The Crown. I thought it was honestly very boring. But there was one episode I remember where I forget, I don't know if it was Philip or Will, it was somebody was raging to the Queen. This was back in the 70s. No, we have to tell them that this is wrong. And news reports were saying one thing. And she said, it's the hardest thing in the world to stay silent. Non-reaction is the most difficult thing in the world. And I'm butchering this. I'm saying too much as usual. She said it so much more succinctly and with so much more command and presence. But it really stuck with me. It's non-reaction is the most challenging thing. Think about when a guy texts you something so crazy making. I just did a video on this for the Shallon Entourage. This boy that I'm dating, it's he's got this gene inside of him that he's oriented, his entire purpose in life is to effortlessly craft text that will make me want to just gouge his eyes out. It's like Michael Phelps is double jointed in all his backbones, and this dude is like emotionally double jointed in writing text messages that just make you want to tear your hair out. So that's where we're at. But I've always taken the bait. I've always been like, rah! And just this vitriol. I look stupid. It escalates a situation. And those words of the queen came back to me, and I thought, no, I'm not going to react. I'm not going to do that. Because look, I know what you're thinking. Shallon, you've said before that the high road isn't the high road if it's a cover for cowardice, right? Have I said that before? I meant to do a video on it. You know, I think I did a video on it like literally back in January when Khloe Kardashian was like, I'm taking the high road with Tristan. It's like, no, you're being a pussy is what you're being. Because you know you're going to get back together with him. So this isn't you being so dignified or even strategic. This is you being a coward. And I did the video. It was so good. And the sound was like unsavable. And I don't still think about it. It's fine. But listen, this is true. I mean, when they go low, we go high. I don't. Not always. When they go low, I get lower. Okay? Sometimes you fight. The phrase pick your battles, the key word there is pick. It doesn't say don't fight any battles. Pick them. Which one? If it's not this one, what is it going to be? And I've encouraged you guys in the past to do what I call a war map, like a flow chart of cause and effect. If you're dealing with a particular enemy, say a shitty coworker, right? I want you to sit down, and you might need some wine because this is going to be a stressful exercise at the beginning. I want you to think of every bad thing they could do to you. Like from chirping you in a meeting to throwing your lunch out to throwing you under the bus with a project, whatever it might be, okay? And I want you to write what your reaction is going to be. 9 times out of 10, your reaction might be, I won't say 9 times out of 10, your reaction might be nothing. They throw my lunch out, it's fine. That's fine. But they talk shit about you in a meeting? Oh, no. That gets a reaction. A reaction you predetermine. You write it on this chart. If they do that, I go to HR, I call them out, I send a company-wide email, I CC everybody, whatever it is. So that when these things, if they do come up, you don't have to decide in the moment while it's stressful in the middle of the storm. You literally pull this chart and you're like, okay, no, this is what I do. And then you can feel positive about reacting because you've already decided, no, I decided I was going to let it go when she heats up salmon in the office microwave, okay? Or when she doesn't invite me to work happy hour. These things are in the let it go category. This is chosen mayhem. This is chosen reaction. And I can go forward with that, not thinking, I'm just being so reactive, I'm being crazy. No, I'm following the strategy. I had to do that when someone was stalking me. And because I felt like I never knew what was next. I never knew how I was going to react, what I should do. And I finally sat down. I'm like, I have to get out in front of this. And this is how I do it. And so I feel like this is something monarchs, or really a lot of celebrities, either consciously or unconsciously, the smart ones anyway, have done. They have lines in the sand about what will and will not get a reaction. You know, I always go back to this. America does not negotiate with terrorists. Kill the hostage. We'll send in the Navy SEALs. We're not negotiating. That's not what we do. Because it's a slippery slope once you go back on that. We made our chart and we follow it. Sometimes the outcomes are positive, sometimes they're negatives, but we can at least look ourselves in the eye and say, I chose this course of action based on neutral forethought, adherence to strategy, adherence to brand, and the chips are going to fall where they may. But at least I can look myself in the face and say, no, I did this right based on my own strategy and analysis. Okay. Doesn't guarantee a positive outcome all the time. But for me, that is the root of poise, is when you know how to react, when you know basically what your boundaries are. When I think of someone who is elegant, poised, I think of someone with a lot of boundaries. Not in a negative way, because listen, what are boundaries? We love to talk about boundaries and like other people. He has the boundary that he just cannot come home drunk. It's a boundary. It's a boundary for him. Oh, my sister, if she brings up her fucking bachelorette one more time, it's a boundary. Okay. That's not what a boundary is, though. They're not for other people. They're for us. I know. Boundaries are sets of governance for ourselves. For ourselves. He comes home drunk. I don't go ballistic on him. I very calmly pack up my things and I leave. And I don't talk to him for, what does the chart say, 2 weeks? Okay. My sister starts nagging me about the Bachelorette. The boundary, my rule of governance, is that I say, you know what? I will Venmo you $200 for the Bachelorette party. I cannot come. My boundary is that I no longer entertain text messages about it. My boundary is I remove myself from the group chat. Okay? It's about us. We cannot put a fence around other people. I've used this example before. Boundaries are fences, right? Fences go around houses. They don't go around every single person who walks by the house. The boundary is for the structure, not for everyone coming by. That would be ludicrous. Hold on, I need to build a fence around you because I don't have any doors. Okay? And when we can be rock solid in our boundaries, because boundaries are based on what? Self-knowledge. Where is my comfort zone? What feels like a breach? What can I let go? It's still going to annoy me. Like, it's still going to annoy me if she heats up salmon in the microwave and throws my lunch away and whatever. But what like really clicks up something that if I let it go, it will sit with me and it will hurt me more than if I go after it. And maybe it doesn't work out well. What can I really not let go from a self-respect and integrity standpoint? She doesn't get to throw me under the bus on this project. She doesn't get to take credit. Okay? She can take my sandwich. She doesn't get to take my project. Okay. Oh, sorry, my back is killing me. When we can stand firm and know ourselves, we can find grace, dignity, and poise in almost any situation because we know what we possess. We know where the lines are. We know what is an attack and what is something we're going to let go because we are also going to have our eyes on a larger prize in life. This is another point of poise and elegance. Goals. Some sort of, I don't want to use the term branding because it's like so influencer and so weird, but like, I do think it's helpful for all of us to have a brand, not like on Instagram or whatever, but our own personal mission statement. Who are you as a person? We talk about this in terms of like dating. Like dating is sales. Hey, you should buy this product. Okay, well, what's the product? It's a car. What kind of car? A good one? What color is it? How big is it? I don't know. What color do you want it to be? I don't know. Do we not feel like that dating sometimes? Interacting, making friends? I don't know. Who do you want me to be? What kind of fucking sales pitch is that? Would you buy a product from a salesman who's like, I don't know what this is. Why should you buy it? I have no idea. Please, it's kind of sucks. I'm so sorry. But do you want it? No, I don't blame you. But do you want it? It would be ludicrous. I have an extremely specific idea of who I am. I have always been a very fully formed person. I have not like, oh, there's no room to wiggle and I can't ever grow. No, I don't mean like that. I know what I like. I know what I don't like. I know what makes me happy. I know what doesn't. And of course, there's malleability within these categories. When we can have a very specific idea of what is and isn't okay from a brand standpoint, like getting drunk and taking our clothes off. I've never been like a naked person. You can get me as drunk as you want. I will never strip, like ever. That's not part of my authenticity, AKA my brand. What's yours? What feels good to you? What feels a little bit inauthentic? I won't say good or bad. Like there is no good or bad set of behaviors. I mean, streaking is like not great. Fighting at bars is not great. What is it? Do this sort of police sketch about yourself. Who are you? Who are you? Because if you don't know, then you're going to be forever at the whims of everyone else. And this is where the monarchy has done it right. Monarchs know exactly who they are. Like queens used to have mottos when they would take the throne. Like Anne Boleyn's was, I think, the most happy. Like that was her motto, right? And like they go into it with like a very specific style, a specific set of things they wanted to accomplish, like charities and causes. Like they had a very specific brand. First ladies do this to this day. They're not like, I don't know, like who am I? Like they take some time and they think about this. So let's recap just the basic framework of elegance. I mean, there's so many more things we could say about elegance and dignity and poise, but this is a pretty good start. Your appearance, Clean, well-kept, classic things. I mean, look, you can't go wrong with a chambray shirt and some gold jewelry. You're always going to look fairly put together. So if you don't know where to begin, start there. Get rid of the trendy shit. No more Shein. Like, no. It's very easy to veer into that category because, hey, when we want to be socially included, and what makes us feel safer from a social standpoint than looking like everyone else, right? And it's ironic, we tell ourselves, I'm so unique, I'm so trendy. Those things aren't the same. You're either unique or you're trendy. And sometimes the most unique thing is being classic. Like right now, isn't the most unique thing in the world someone with no tattoos? Like it's crazy. When you meet someone, it's like, oh, you don't have any? And they're like, no. You know? So it's like now the people who are so edgy and so outside, like they're the normies, you know? So I think that's really interesting. Your posture, huge. Work on your appearance and your posture. Just be well groomed, smell good, have nice breath, walk in a pleasant gait, like walk with good posture. You're automatically going to feel more elegant and more regal. Then work on the inside. Who are you as a brand? If you were a queen, what would your motto be? What would be the 3 social issues you care about? Dive into them, learn as much as you can, start fundraisers, volunteer. What is your particular style? What's your style of communication? What is your method of war? Who are your allies out there? Who are the people that you would align yourself with? And who are the people you're like, no, they're not for my empire. They don't belong here. And then be judicious about what you say. Truly, elegance and poise is rooted in not saying that much, which is why I do not consider myself particularly elegant nor poised because I never shut up. I get that, you know? It's something I'm working on. I wouldn't be a great YouTuber though if I was particularly taciturn and didn't say very much. You imagine just subscribe. So practice. So really latch on to the concept that the hardest thing in the world is non-reaction, because what you will do, and Meghan Markle is the shining example of this, your enemies will bury themselves. They'll just bury themselves. Meghan Markle doesn't need anyone else's help to construe herself as such a fucking clown. She is her own worst enemy because she never shuts up and she has only one thing to say, which is, I'm such a victim. I'm such a victim. I'm Nelson Mandela. Remember our life advice. Go this way, that way. Go non-Nelson. Take the road less Nelsoned. Okay? Your enemies will eventually, in the desperate attempts to get a reaction from you, become so hysterical and so clownish, no one will believe them. Even if, especially if, what they're saying is true about you, because they're going to be so desperate for you to react to it that they're going to say it louder and louder. And what do we say? What do we know? The loudest person in the room is always the weakest, and they're usually the least trustworthy. Even if they're crowing so much about it because it's true, your non-reaction will deaden the issue before long. They will move on to a different target. It's called the economy of attention. So as difficult and frustrating and long con as it is, because it is, like, not reacting is not satisfying in the moment at all. I have learned though to be incredibly strategic when it comes to war and spite and conflict. I can keep this up as long as it takes. And that's why I just simply outlast my enemies. We did this for Eva Week last year. Go check that out. And oh yeah, Eva Week's coming back. I want your suggestions. When I say the phrase happily evil after, what do you think of? I'll see you later, Shalligators. Tell me what you have to say about this. Are you just as over the Meghan Markle garbage fire as the rest of us? All right, I'll see you later, Shalligators. Like I said, if you have $5-10 to spare and you can donate to our Shalligator Jerry Beth, who's raising money to rescue dogs and cats in Venezuela, it would really mean the world to me. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you next time.